this was the D lineman that they decided to meet with at the combine. And the reason why we wanted to talk about them, we don't have to spend a ton of time, but the reason why we just figured it was important to bring it up is because if the team is meeting with them, man, there's a strong possibility that these players could be, drafted by this squad or potentially signed as guys after the draft or however they want to go about that. But it usually gives us a little bit of an indication. So some of the players, man, or the players that the Steelers met with at the combine from a D-line group: Mike Morris, Bresee, Byron Young. No, I said it right. Byron Young.
Which one?
I feel like this was the one from Bama.
Because I was wondering. I didn't even look up
like
the Bama,
the Bama
at all. I only watched stuff on the Tennessee guy.
You know what? Maybe this is the Tennessee guy then. I'm looking at the other guys, his comps.
They're
group,
all inside guys.
And that's why I feel like it's the Bama one. Whereas,
you're probably right.
Whereas we know the one from Tennessee was the pass rusher, the edge rusher. So Byron Young from Bama. Then we had our Javon Dexter, excuse me. He's out of Florida. And then not the last guy. You also had Keandre Coburn out of Texas. And then the final guy was Cameron Young out of Mississippi State. So we've already obviously talked about Mike Morris. We've talked about Brian Bresee before.
So confirmation, it was the Alabama Byron Young.
There we go. Shout out, man. But yeah, so the thing is with Brian Bresee, we liked him a lot. We just felt like he was more of a project at this stage. And we know that, I want to say he missed time because of injury, if I remember correctly, for him. Not really productive, but really talented player. We said very similar in the sense of athleticism and size, like a Jalen Carter, but we thought that Jalen was just the more skilled and just better player between the two. But we definitely like Brian Bresee, man. We thought that he had, some good stuff with his game. We just obviously talked about Byron Young, the cat out of Bama, man, the 3 technique. I was a little surprised, but at the same time, if he's being mocked as a mid-round guy, that's the type of guy that you could look to.
Fourth and maybe later.
Yeah, that's the guy you potentially look to that can be a little bit of a tweener, 4-3, 3-4 interior guy. That would make sense for them to have some interest. Now, Javon Dexter, I like him, man. This is a big, strong D tackle. He can play the 5 technique, the 3, or the 1. He honestly reminds me of the DeMarvin Leals and the Tuits, man, in terms of big athlete, rangy, plays extremely hard. Strong,
I was thinking a little lighter Larry Ogunjobi, maybe.
That too, yeah. Strong hands, man. Very fundamentally sound, though. Definitely has really good rush ability, and he is stout versus the run, which is what I do like a lot. Problem with, when you talk about some of the gifted pass rushers or the bigger guys that can pass rush, they play high at times. And Javon is actually one of those guys that does play high at times. But I do like his tape, though, man. It would be interesting to see do you know where they had him mocked in terms of rounds they were talking about for him?
I'll check real quick.
Because he was interesting for me.
No, I just liked his game. He looked like a smooth player.
Absolutely, man.
Draft production for Javon Dexter.
Yeah.
Looks like the third or fourth.
Okay, about right. I like that.
They have him overall rank. This is just one site. They have him as an overall rank out of all the players on the draft board at 71. Position rank number 15. This is NFLDraftBuzz.com.
Yeah.
So yeah, thirdish.
Okay. Then after that, man, Keandre Coburn, we can check him out too, man. See what they talking draft stock for him. But we talk about Keandre, man. That's a big nose tackle, but he's athletic, bro. Super athletic. Obviously, he could bump out, could play the 3 technique. You put him on the. I definitely like him as a nose or a 1 technique. He can play 3.
This dude's just big.
He's massive. He can play the 3 technique. He's going to struggle with the redirection, though. That's some of the issues when you talk about bumping him out there in space, and the difference between a nose and a 1 technique versus a 3 technique is just a lot more ground he has to cover when he goes unblocked or he's backside having to run stuff down. He'll struggle with that. But in terms of his rushing ability, man, he rushes like a big, violent man. Like, it's not sexy. He's going to eat up space. He is going to command too. He's going to play high at times, and at times he struggles to disengage blocks because he doesn't always play with the best hand placement and technique. But the sheer size and just the athleticism that he has, he's gonna get attention, and that's some of the things that I do like about Keandre. But you definitely got to button him up a little bit more, though.
What's your guess
in terms of what round?
Yeah,
I'll probably say as high as second, as low as fourth. I could be off though.
the two that I just saw, one had him at 4th, another one got him at 5th.
Okay. The reason I say fourth is because he still has like the questions about, can you be buttoned up fundamentally every single play? Because you're not gonna just be towering over guys and just overly strong at the NFL level. So when that goes away, can you be fundamentally sound enough to go and do the things that we need you to do on a play in and play out basis? If he can, do you like him a little bit more? That's why I said that's high as second. If you really love him and you think that you can get him in there and coach him up, great. But if you can't, or you feel like it's going to take more time, then yeah, you don't want to tap that too early.
Looks like back in the middle of the season, actually early on in the season, it was early October, University of Texas article found some type of draft board or some type of draft website that projected Coburn actually in the first round.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a Leal type of situation, though.
Okay.
Fell as time has gone on.
Yeah. Alrighty. And then after that, man, we had Cameron Young. He was the final dude. And with Cameron Young out of Mississippi State, another one of those athletic nose tackles that could bump, could play the nose, could play the one technique, really, really good hand usage, active rusher as well, very disruptive against the run. The thing that stood out to me was his get off. I like his get off a lot, man. When that ball snapped, man, he's firing upfield, effective rusher. Weirdly enough, though, he was like hot and cold at times when I would watch him as a rusher. Sometimes I like his game. Other times I'm watching him get blocked with one person. And that's the part where at the collegiate level, you don't want to see a lot of that. So not as consistent as you would want, but I do like his upside. But he's another one when you talk about his technique, you got to get better in terms of just more play in and play out, and especially the pad level part. The pad level, he has to come down a little bit.
Not going to lie, I struggled to find some stuff on him, but from what I did find, just felt like just a guy out there.
Yep.
Just a guy. He'll probably go late, 4th, 5th, 6th, whatever.
Like when I'm watching the interior D lineman, if you're not one of those guys who are having a ton of productivity, it's going to be hard to move that needle. To talk about like drafting those guys earlier, just by the nature of the position. They're not playing every snap. They all rotate every couple of plays. So if you're not giving TFL, sacks, or crazy disruption, it's hard to justify that versus some of these other positions where we know the impact is felt a little bit more.
Yeah. Any more on these guys?
Nah, man, that was kind of it for those meetings. Obviously, man, we'll continue talking about I forgot which group. We got a couple groups left in terms of combine meetings because, like I said, it's a good indication of players that need to be on our radar. And it was. I
think we took 4 of 7 players we met with last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, it could mean something.
Yep.
And I think a couple of the ones we didn't meet with were more late picks. Like we met with Pickett, obviously Pickens.
Yeah.
Met with Leal. Another one was Connor Hayward. I think the other ones we didn't meet with.
Yeah.
Calvin Austin, Oladokin, and Mark Robinson.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Was Mark Robinson at the combine? I don't even know that.
I don't know. Yeah.
Same with Oladokin. Was he even there?
Probably not. Yeah.